Hi guys, German Prepper here. I was holding off on putting this one out, but it's become very apparent today and over the last few days that the war has spread to Russia. Now that might seem strange to some of you. Russia is at war with Ukraine, so why would Russia not expect to be struck on its own homeland? But there was an assumption that the war was constrained to Ukraine, that was the theatre of combat, and that's what we should all be expecting. NATO is reinforcing Ukraine, sending in armaments and quite likely specialist troops. And we have seen, obviously, Russia put its full resources into the assault there. I say full resources. There's reports that they've only used, in reality, up to 10% of the available forces they have. But yeah, they're making a serious war effort in Ukraine. Well, it seems that the Ukrainians have, perhaps with NATO sponsorship, taken things further into their own hands, and they are making strikes within Russia. Now, it was suspected at the beginning of the month that this had started. There was an attack in Belgorod, where there was a suggestion that attack helicopters had been used to destroy a fuel depot. That was unsubstantiated, and we couldn't really identify that for the truth. There was talk of a false flag. There was no guarantee that information was accurate. Well, over the last few days, we've seen further attacks around Russia. Military installations, scientific installations have been burnt to the ground. Not one, but two, deep inside Russia, not just at the border. These may be sabotage attacks by possibly covert NATO forces or covert Ukrainian forces. We really don't know. No one's taking responsibility for these events, and they are being painted as unfortunate accidents. But clearly, two research centres don't burn down in 2 to 3 days. It just doesn't happen. Now, things are getting worse. There's been further evidence today of fuel depots just outside Belgorod on fire, in further explosions being heard, and all across the frontier with Ukraine, we're hearing reports inside Russia that drones are being shot down, destroyed, and recovered. And these are Ukrainian drones, possibly of NATO origin, and these are within Russian territory. I can't emphasize enough how much of an escalation this is. A drone is not merely some reconnaissance vehicle that we can all dismiss. It is an active war vehicle, and they have the capacity, of course, to do their own level of destruction with bombs and various other apparatus. So this is an escalation. There's no denying it, and we are seeing these reports of recovered drones across, and not just recovered, but obviously sightings of drones across the frontier region inside Russia now. This is an escalation. I think we should all be starting to worry about this. A war in Ukraine is one thing, but when the war spreads into Russia, when Ukraine directly attacked Russia openly without any kind of subterfuge at all, Russia's response will be extreme, to say the least. And it's not just Ukraine that's going to pay the price. Russia has a full nuclear armament, far more advanced than that of the West. And, in terms of war, in terms of military doctrine, they can and will strike back. So we should all be prepared for that eventuality. And I think we all need to step up our prepping. This isn't a game anymore. This isn't a hobby. I think we all need to take this extremely seriously and just keep prepping, keep moving along, and hope for the best. Cheers for listening. Any comments, any insight you might have on this, I'd love to hear it in the comments below. Cheers for now, guys.